What's going on, everybody? Hey, it's another edition of STEM with Mr. C. As you can see, I got my duct tape here because we are going to be using it today. Today is a STEM challenge build, and we're going to be building our own balloon cars. If you were in first grade last year, you remember we used this principle, and we had little Hot Wheels cars, and you strap a balloon to them and you watch them go, right? Well, today we're actually going to build our own car from the ground up. Don't worry, it's not going to be a huge car, just enough to put on the table and strap a balloon to it. And we are again going to explore one of my favorite Newton's laws, the third law. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Well, I mean, it's definitely in my my top three. Sorry, that was a Newton joke there. Anyway, for this build, this is really not going to be, I'm not going to really teach you a whole lot as like new science concepts. This is really going to be reviewing one of our science concepts we've already discussed, and we're also going to be using some household materials to do some engineering and build, right? So first thing, let's go ahead and figure out our jet, right? So we need to make a jet. So to make a jet, you're going to need a balloon. Where is it? A straw. Now, if you have a flexi bendy straw, those are kind of nice because you can adjust the air coming out. If you don't have one, it's not the end of the world. Don't worry about it. It'll work just fine. You have a little more control with the flexi stuff. From here, you're either going to need a rubber band or my favorite, duct tape, and you tape the balloon to the straw. You can do that. Okay, that's your jet. All right, to make your body, you got a whole bunch of options here, right? And I'm gonna build probably 3 of them here for you. You can use anything for the body, right? You can use a toilet paper tube. You can use a piece of foam, cardboard. I'm actually gonna show you how to do it with a drink bottle, right? I thought this was cool. One of my electrolyte beverages. It's a scientific formula. Seemed to kind of go with what we're doing here. So anything, a milk carton, a juice box, you know, your baby sister. No, don't use your baby sister. Really going to be too heavy, and you're not going to, you know, you don't want to do that. Stick with one of these things. But really, you can use anything for the body. Okay, and then we're going to need the axles. Okay, so one thing that works as a perfect axle, right? If you get a straw and then you get a nice wooden dowel. That fits in very nice, and you have a nice axle there, okay? Now, if you have one of my kits, I didn't put wooden dowels in here, I put coffee stirrers, right? And these work just as well because this is gonna be what your axle goes into, so it doesn't need to fit perfectly, and we're gonna trim these and figure these out. So this will actually make it lighter, and it's gonna work a lot better. And then you're gonna need, you can use that, you can use chopsticks, you can use barbecue skewers, you can use really kind of whatever you want. And then we're gonna need wheels. And again, for wheels, oh my goodness, so many options for wheels, right? You can use little bottle caps, tiny little bottle caps here. You know, for these, the Coke drinks or the, you know, water bottles, whatever. You can use, and you still have film canisters. I have the tops of film canisters. Those make great wheels. I'm actually going to do one where I'm going to use CDs. Yes, now, ladies and gentlemen, if you've never seen a compact disc, well, let me take you back in time. We actually used to use these to store data on there and put it in the computer. We also used to put music on here. I know, we actually put it on the CD. It was pretty cool. Many hours were built making you know, custom playlists on your CD and then giving it to your significant other of like all the cool things that you listen to. I know, it's a great time. About the 90s, yeah. Anyway, so you can use these for wheels. You can even use ping pong balls for wheels. That's actually pretty cool. I'll show you how to do that. So really anything you want to use, okay? You're gonna need the connector for attaching the wheels to the axle, right? And that's really this, right? Something to connect it to the wheel, right? You're gonna need something that connects this. So you can either poke a hole through here, you can glue it. Some of you, I've given you some foam here that will work really well with your coffee stirs. I'll show you how to do that, okay? And really, that's all you're gonna need. Anything else, if you wanna add to it, any bells and whistles, you wanna add some spoilers, hey, that's on you. I'm just gonna show you the basics on how to build this, and that's it. Again, this is more of a challenge, okay? Don't just copy me. Use what I'm learning here, use what I'm teaching here, and then just go on and make your own. So I'm going to show you a couple different ways, and we'll get building here in 3, 2, 1. All right, everybody, I have my materials for I'm going to build one type of balloon car just to give you an example of how to do it, right? I understand building a car just from scratch, right? Hey, go build a car. I understand that can be kind of difficult for a lot of us, so let's go ahead and do that now. Don't mind O over there, he's just doing his, yeah, there he is. Hey, give him a shout out, O.
How you doing, everyone?
Hey, there he is, right? Working hard. Oh, and are you working hard or hardly working? He's watching cool videos. Well, it is lunchtime, so that's okay, as long as it's during lunchtime. All right, first thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna take, and you can notice my wheels here. So I have everything I need. Here's my body, there's my jet, and my hot glue, and my tape is right here. Beautiful. My axles, right? I'm gonna use my clear straw, and I've got my coffee stirs. And I have my wheels. Of course, I have 1, 2, 3 the same, and then my fourth one's different. So it's going to be like that cart at the grocery store that never seems to work. All right. So first thing let's do, I'm going to move everything I don't need yet. I want to build the car first. So what I want to do is I'm going to measure, and it doesn't matter, right, top or bottom. I'm just going to make this the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to take my straw here, and I'm going to attach it to the bottom, right? And so I don't need, like, that's a big straw, right? I really don't need that much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cut this in half, and there we go. I'm going to cut it in half. And see, that's a little better, right? I don't need all that much. That's going to be perfect, okay? So now what I want you to do, we're going to go ahead and take our glue. You can also, if you don't have glue, duct tape works just fine. But since I have the glue gun, I'm going to go ahead and glue. Beautiful, right? And if you are using a glue gun, again, a low temperature glue gun, when using plastic, it's going to help out a ton, right? If you use hot glue, like really, really hot glue on plastic, it's going to melt it. Do the same thing here. Beautiful. Now you want to make sure they're even, and you also want to make sure that your axles are parallel. What I mean is that they go straight, just like this. If they don't, and one's going this way, your car is not going to work as well. It's actually going to kind of turn, and we'll talk about that. So that's already dried. And so what's going to happen here is, check it out, my coffee stirrers, all we're doing is just putting them through like that. Now you can determine if you want your wheels to be that long, or your axles to be that long. Doesn't have to be. But look at that. I mean, that's what we're doing right there. Okay, so from here you can trim this however you want. So I'm going to say, well, I don't need that much. I want it to be about right here. And I'll give it a little extra. So I'm going to trim that. And then, so I don't have to measure two things, I'm just going to take the one I've already cut, and then notice that, and I'm just going to trim it there. Beautiful. All right, and now these are just going to fit loosely in here. Okay, they're not going to be tight against this, because what's going to happen is the wheel is going to move, and we want our axle to move with the wheel. Okay. So now we need to figure out a way to get our wheel on our axle, okay? So there's lots of ways we could do this. We could just glue it and hope it sticks. We could put a piece of craft foam here, right? Now we're adding like a little extra barrier there, so glue the craft foam on there. We can do that. Or a real simple way is just to put a hole through that and then just stick that through there and then you're done. So we're going to go with the simple way for this one. So I'm just going to take my utility knife and I'm just going to make a little hole here. Again, using a utility knife, please be careful. And that's what we're going for right there. See the hole right there? It is going to need to be a little bit bigger, otherwise, because this is not going to fit through there. So we're going to make it a little bit bigger. And that, nope, a little bit bigger. It needs a little bit more. So I'm going to go on the other side and do that. Beautiful. Okay, and now we can try it out. And I have all this plastic in the way. There we go. And there we go, right? So that's going to work just fine. And so I'm going to do the same thing. Don't worry about this. It's just kind of bent up like this. So we obviously want this to stick, so we're going to glue this shortly. But I'm going to go ahead and drill holes in all of my little wheels. So when I come back, these will all be done, and then we'll get to gluing our axles to our wheels. So stick around if you want, or just wait till the end of this montage, and we'll be back. Okay, folks, here we go. And so now we're going to attach our axle to the wheel. So the easy way is just to thread it through like this, right? But now, obviously, that's not going to work too well. So what we're going to do is we're going to stand this straight up, okay? And we want this to be right there, okay? Just like that. So the best way, obviously this keeps popping out. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take my glue, and because this is a low temperature glue gun, this will work pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shoot it right here. Just like that. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set it up straight, and I'm going to push it in and out, right? And I'm going to twist it, right, to really make sure. I want that all that glue to be right there, right? And then, oh, there we go, just like that. And I'm going to let it dry. So I'm going to hold it standing straight up, right? Because I want this to dry nice and straight, because if the axle isn't straight, it's not going to work so well. And it's starting to dry, and I'm going to take a little bit more, so I see a little spot right there. I want to make sure I get that. There we go. Beautiful. All right. Make sure that axle is nice and straight. You can even blow on it if you want to get it nice and dry. Beautiful. All right, and don't worry if it's not perfectly straight. Again, we're not, making this at the Indy 500 here. We're making fun little cars to see if we can build a car that will go with balloons. All right, I've already done my other one, and now check this out. Now that you have one wheel on, all we're going to do is thread them through just like this. Thread it through. Beautiful. So now it looks like we actually have a car. And we're going to do the same thing here. It's going to be a little more tricky, but now what we can do is actually we can prop this up. And let's go ahead and show you what we're doing here. There we go. So now what I can do is I can put my wheel on here, just like that. And we're going to do the same thing. Beautiful. We're going to do the same thing. Obviously my wheels, I need to make them straight. So I'm going to take my glue gun. And I'll show you a different way to do this without poking holes through here. So let's go ahead and make this nice and straight. Whoop! Fell down. That's okay. And so you may have some trouble. There we go. I'm going to bring this over here. I'm going to make sure that straw There we go. And then just go ahead and put your glue. See, I'm putting it right there. No, you can't because it's, there we go. There's my glue right there. And I'm holding this, right, because I want that glue to dry, but I need that wheel to be straight, okay? Now here's a tip. If your glue melts, right, and then it solidifies and it's not the position you want, just take a hot hair dryer and run it over the hot glue gun or the hot glue. It'll soften it up, and then you can reposition your wheel or whatever you're gluing. Okay, and so it's still a little, wobbly weird here, and that's okay if it is. So I'm gonna make sure it's nice and straight as best I can. Position it, again, it's just plastic, so however you can position this, beautiful. So I don't usually like drilling it right through. I'll show you another way to do this, where you use the craft foam, but this works just fine, especially for like a beginner balloon car. I'm gonna do the same thing here, and just put my hot glue gun right over there, and I'm just gonna, a nice generous amount of hot glue. Then you can spin the wheel, all right, and then I'm just going to hold it while it dries. So right now, don't be concerned with looks. Really, we're just gonna go with function right now. Okay, can our car drive? Can it roll? It doesn't need to be the fastest. Right now, we're just working on just making a car. So there it is, it's tipping over. We can even test it out here. So now I need this to be straight. And what I'm noticing, right? What I'm noticing, and I just saw this, I have all this plastic pushing up here, right? So this is where it might be helpful to use like a punch or like a drill and really trim all that plastic out if you can. Okay, let's take a look. So this will work, but yeah, that's, as you can see, it's not the best, right? It's one of the reasons why I don't really like poking it right in the center. It's also weighted there, but we're just gonna test this out. All right, so I'm gonna trim this one more time. This is why using craft foam, or I'm gonna show you how to use those marshmallows I put in your kits. Those work really well. So I'll try it one more time here. Push it up. There we go. And it helps to have that wheel nice and straight. Obviously, straight wheels go a lot better than crooked wheels do. That seems obvious. If a wheel is bent, obviously not gonna go as well. And there we go. Beautiful. All right. I'm gonna let that dry. And so I can tell what's going on here, right? You want to make sure and poke your holes in your wheels. It needs to be in the center. And so what happened here is that drifted off a little bit. So I'm actually going to take that out. That's why it's all wobbly. If you, makes sense, right? If I have my wheel here and I poke a hole in the center, the wheel is going to go perfectly around. But if I poke it off center, it's going to go ka-doom, 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 and that's not going to be good for us. Okay, there's that. I'm just going to pinch that, being that it is nice and warm glue, not hot glue. Beautiful. So yeah, this we're going to fix. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this off, and I'm going to test this out again. So I'm going to poke my, just like that. And this is, again, this is the engineering, right? Of you see something, you don't like the way it looks, well then don't live with it, fix it. Do whatever you can do to fix it. I noticed that that's working kind of how I don't want it to, so I'm gonna fix that. So I'm just drilling a hole, and I need it to be a little more up there, so I take my X-Acto knife, or my utility knife, and there we go. Whatever you can do, right? Whatever you need to do to fix it. There we go, and I'm going to put that back through, and now I want it a little closer, and that's still not really working for me, so I'm going to really punch all this out. Okay, so all my wheels are on, and we'll just take a little test here. And sure enough, yeah, it is not pretty, but yes, it will go, right? And again, this is like, if this is what you make, then good, this is what you make. You successfully made a car, right? And there's lots of things that you can do to make sure it doesn't go back and forth like this. Lots of things, but we're gonna go with this, okay? The wheels freely spin, right? Test that out. The wheels spin, beautiful, okay. Again, I'm just doing this very quickly. All right, next we need to make our jet. So we've got our balloon, we've got our straw, and then we have our duct tape. So I'm gonna start by peeling off some duct tape. Okay, and then let's go ahead and raise this up so you can see a little better. Beautiful. So now we're gonna go ahead and tape our straw, or the balloon, to the straw. So however you wanna do that. I have it like this. I like to put my balloon in there. Okay, and then all we're gonna do is just tape it around. Okay, you wanna make sure that it is sealed up. Right? If you're using a rubber band, rubber bands work fine, but I find straws work really well. Or straws, duct tape works really well. Okay, and then we'll test it out by blowing in the balloon. Okay, and then you go ahead and put your finger on it, and then do you feel any air coming out? No, there's no leaks, so I'm gonna go ahead and let go, and beautiful. All right. So now we just need to put our balloon, our jet, on the car. So now however you want to do this, you want to make sure, because we've attached the balloon, we want to be able to pick up the car and blow air into this. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is why it's cool to have a flexi straw, because you can adjust it however you want, and we can actually do some fun stuff with that. So I'm going to take a piece of tape. I'm good with it right here. You do want to make sure it is in line with it's nice and straight, okay? Because if you don't, right, if it's off like this or it's off like this, you're going to get a different, you're going to get a way different result than you probably expected. So we'll go ahead and do this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a piece of tape right on this. Beautiful. And tuck it under. All right. And now our balloon car is ready to go. So all we have to do now is blow into this. All right. There's my balloon car in 3, 2, 1. And there it goes off. It goes off the table. All right, let's do this on the floor and let's see how well this works. Okay, here we are at our racetrack, aka the floor. I'm gonna go ahead and blow this up again. I'm pinching it here, and then we're gonna let it go in 3, 2, 1. There it goes. Whee! Ooh, went over the carpet. Look at that. Actually, wow, look at that. Not too bad. Not the prettiest car or the most mechanically sound, but hey, it worked exactly how we wanted it to. All right, let's go back and explain and explore what's happening here. Okay, so again, the wheels are kind of wobbly and the axles are going everywhere, but look, we successfully made a balloon car, right? All it took was 2 coffee stirs, a straw cut in half, a bendy straw, a balloon, a piece of cardboard, some hot glue and tape. You made yourself a balloon car, right? So we already talked about Newton's third law. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? So we notice we put the balloon on the front, right? And this works just like our boats do, right? Our gravity boats, right? A bunch of air is in here and it gets pushed out the back and the air goes, and that is the action. And then the reaction is it propels the car forward, all right? So now we're gonna do this. And I'm going to show you 2 other cars, right? And I'm not really going to talk through it. I'm just going to kind of build them. It'll be sped up a little bit, but I'll show you the different materials. I'm going to make one using toilet paper tube, and then the other one is going to be, for those of you that want to use this, a water bottle. I'll show you how to do this too. So there's not going to be a lot of talking. They all use the same principles, right? A body, my axles, and then a balloon and a straw and a jet. The only difference I'm going to show you, right, with my flat thing here, I taped my straws to the bottom so the axles can fit through. So with a toilet paper tube or a water bottle, I can actually drill through there, and I can actually have the axles going through here, which kind of helps. I don't have to tape them. All right, when we come back, I'm going to take you through a couple builds, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Okay, so first up is going to be my toilet paper tube car. Do a quick run through of my materials. I have the body. I have my wheels. Again, one of these wheels is not like the other. One of these wheels doesn't belong. Although it's same size, it'll work just fine. I have my balloon. I have my jet here, jet, balloon, straw. I have my axle. So I'm going to use my wooden dowel here. I have duct tape. I have my hot glue gun over there, and I'm going to use a ruler, and I've got a marker to mark off where my axles are going to go on here. So you're going to want to see that, and I'm just going to go ahead. This will be twice as fast. I also have these little marshmallows, little craft foam marshmallows. The ones you guys have are a little smaller, but these ones fit nicely. Just like it there, I'm actually going to probably cut these in half, and I'm going to stick my axles through there. So you'll see that shortly. So I'm going to speed this up about twice as fast, maybe 3 times, and you guys get a good feel for how this is going to work. Here we go in 3, 2, 1.
Late at night, I think of you. Your vision floods my mind. There isn't much I wouldn't do to be sure you're mine. No matter what you choose to do, no matter day or time, I only want to be with you. I will be there by your side. As time goes by with you. As time goes by with you. Time goes by with you. Time goes by with you. Anata watashi no ai. Anata wa watashi no jinsei. Anata wa watashi no ashi. 金色时代，金鸡招待，海盗时代，总不舍待。君の教えてください。あなたに夢中だ。As time goes by with you.
All right, you saw that successful run with my interesting balloon car, and I'm gonna pull out my straw. There we go. Pretty interesting here. Definitely unconventional looking car. All right, so I'm gonna blow it up and we'll see how far we can get this thing to go. Here we go. And go. Go, car, go. Hey, it's going. Ooh, got a little speed at the end. Not as far as my cardboard one, but yeah, still pretty good. All right, let's build our last kind of car coming up next. All right, we're gonna switch out my water bottle. I'm gonna use something a little bigger only because my CDs are kind of large. So I wanna make sure they're not touching each other. But same thing, we're gonna go ahead, got all my materials, and we're gonna kick it off in 3, 2, 1.
There isn't much I wouldn't do to be sure you're mine. No matter what you choose to do, no matter day or time, I only want to be with you. I will be there by your side. As time goes by with you. As time goes by with you. Time goes by with you. Time goes by with you. Anata watashi no ai. Anata wa watashi no jinsei. Anata wa watashi no ashi. 真切招待，紧急招待，还到招待，全部招待。君を教えてください。あなたに夢中だ。As time goes by with you. De corazón.
Okay, so let's see. We saw it work a little bit. Obviously, I think I could have probably done better with some wooden dowels for my axles. The CDs are just a little heavy, but it's okay. It's still going to work. Same principle, balloon in front, shoots the exhaust out the back, and then here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Away it goes. Go, balloon car, go. It's gonna hit the chair. Boink. Not bad, right? And again, so it's a little heavy, but those CDs worked just right to make our balloon car. All right, let's go talk about what's going on. Okay, so real quick, we're just going to talk about a couple of the builds here. Obviously, we have 3 very different balloon cars, all different wheels, different bodies. That's just to show you that there's really, you know, if your wheel is round, I mean, it's gonna go, right? Your body can be whatever you want. This one's gonna sit a little lower, right? So you definitely want to be careful of that. The larger your CDs, right, your wheels, you know, you just have to kind of look at your spacing, and then obviously the weight. So a couple of things that's going to happen. One, we obviously have our thrust, right? Our Newton's third law. For every action, the balloon blowing up, and then it shoots the air out the back, and that propels our car forward. Okay, so what's going to prevent our car from going really fast? Okay, one, friction. Friction is the enemy of speed, right? And that is really what's going to happen. That's what happened with all of these, right? And the friction comes, this one is pretty good, right? But you can really see my wheels are just kind of wobbly. Well, that's going to cause uneven wear on the wheels contacting the floor. And that's just going to, it's just not going to be a smooth ride. So for every little bump, that's friction there, right? So this is working hard to spin these wheels. The thing this has going for it, it's fairly light. Okay, this one's a little heavier because I've got more stuff on it. Okay, this one is by far the heaviest. The wheels are extremely heavy. That's why this one went pretty slow. It still went because my wheels are round. But again, the enemy of speed is going to be friction. You can see the way the wheels are kind of bending down, and that's just going to cause a lot of stress, one on the axle, and it's going to be rubbing up against my axle housing there. It's going to be rubbing up against the floor, and so that friction is going to slow my car down. And so really, you know, what happens? You build this, it doesn't go as fast as you want, it looks kind of messed up, so what do? Okay, take the wheels off and experiment with something else. I probably should have gone with a wooden dowel. I didn't really like the way the wooden dowel fit in my straw. Oh, that almost crashed. I didn't like the way the wooden dowel fit in the straw. It fits, but it's just kind of tight, right? And so I was worried about friction in there. So I could have used a larger straw, maybe a smoothie straw or something else. Try a different kind of straw, okay? You don't like that? Maybe strip off the wheels, right? Use something a little bit lighter. Why not use ping pong balls? You can use really anything that's round. But really with these balloons, we are limited by how much thrust we can put in here, unless we add a second balloon or a third balloon. But we're really limited how far or how fast this thing can go. But the way you can kind of fix that is make your car as light as possible and make it so everything is straight. You want those wheels to be straight. You want them on the floor. You don't want any bumps. You don't want any friction around here anywhere is really going to slow your car down. But I built 3 quick cars, right? I wasn't terribly worried about friction or setting a speed record. I wanted to show you that really anything is possible when it comes to these STEM projects. Just because yours doesn't look like the one on a video doesn't mean it's a bad idea, right? This one, I got this idea from, I saw it on a video and I wanted to try it, right? This one, I built tons of these, right? This is a real easy go-to, nice and light. It works. Why mess with it? This one, I've always wanted to try, and just as I was doing it, I got the idea to use these marshmallows and just get it as low to the floor. So using a little toilet paper car, right? So you may just be in the middle of building and go, this is something I want to do. I think this works. So what's the best way to see if it works? Test it out, see if it works. If it doesn't work, then guess what? Take it off, start again. All right, I am interested to see your balloon cars. I want to see how well you did with your materials. Again, use what you have, right? Use whatever you have around the house. I give you some kits, but I don't include everything in there. So some of the stuff you're gonna have to get creative with. And that's really what we're doing here at STEM. is I give you the tools, we talk about the science, and then every once in a while I give you a project and I say, make this happen, right? If yours looks exactly like mine, fantastic. If yours looks completely different, fine, right? If yours is as ugly as mine, but it rolls, guess what? It's a great car. We're not in a car show here, right? We're trying to, get the scientific principles of Newton's third law and build something from the ground up that works. All right, that's all for me. I hope you enjoy this. Send me your pictures, your videos, your comments. I want to see how this went for you. If it didn't work, send me a video of what's wrong with it, right? And I'm able to look at it and probably figure it out. Okay, that's all for now. I will see you all later, and I'm going to catch a ride in my new balloon car. Well, maybe not. It's a little heavy. They don't need my weight on it. All right, bye.